What do you think is the future of smart cities in the U.S.? It's
Boy.
magic wand time, or maybe crystal ball time.
I was going to say a lot of confusion in the short term. Boy, I think that there has to be a diametric shift. And this might be too philosophical, but I feel that a lot of times when I go to cities and I'm working with the different entities, even departments that are like maybe just separated by a wall, and they aren't talking through that wall. So there has to be a shift to wanting to share information, not hold on to information. There needs to be a shift to wanting to work together and not stay in your silo. And there needs to be a shift to adopt change, not for change's sake, which a lot of people feel like a lot of this is just for the sake of change and not actually bringing value. So truly examining each and every solution and making sure there's value in it and that the value is worth the risk. And the risk is that people are unhappy, they become disenfranchised within the process, and then they don't want to adopt. So I would say that's the biggest hurdle. Now, if I could wave my magic wand, I would implement.
You can in this room.
In this room,
Let's
I can.
do it, yeah.
That's kind of fun. Boy, there's some great examples of cities that I've been to that are doing some phenomenal things. And for me, one of the things that guides me in smart cities in particular and IoT is the ability to make change for the world and to guide where the world's going, whether it be in a sustainability realm, you know, water, waste, and electricity and energy, they're important causes because they propel savings, they propel longevity, and they propel more resources in our spaces for longer. So I don't know that it's the be-all, end-all, but I do know that for me, that's a really important cause. And so when I'm looking at what I would love to see happen, if I could have the best of the best, I would take components of every single city and I would make a showcase of that. I would take, here, there's a fun to Austin. You know, and you've done a lot of phenomenal things and you're way ahead of the curve. So I'm sure everybody in this room already knows you're ahead of the curve. If you don't, you're way ahead of the curve compared to most cities. But you've seemed to put fun into the process. And I think that in a lot of cities that's missing. So I saw a headline somewhere saying, you know, why smart cities? Why not, I can't remember the word now. It was like fun. Why not fun cities? Or why not happy cities? That was it. Why not happy cities? And I started thinking about that because I always think, why can't it also be fun? So I don't think it just has to be smart. I think it needs to be fun. It needs to be engaging. It needs to be all these other things in order to bring everybody into it. Technology doesn't have a warm feeling to it. You know, it doesn't make people cry at the end of the day. It doesn't pull at your heartstrings. And the things that really get a group to come together and work together for a common purpose has something that pulls at your heartstrings. So if people can't find ways to bring everybody in, then it's always going to be these disparate projects instead of a full scope, holistic solution, which is what my ultimate smart city would be.
That's such a great point. I mean, tech is almost invisible in our lifetime. We're only really noticing it when it doesn't work the way we absolutely want it to at our command and absolutely convenient. And same way with the city in some respects. I mean, the way that a city operates is just an amazing logistical feat, and they are just all these invisible things that happen that make our lives kind of run. And the only time we really notice it is when it's not working great because the city has grown very quickly and the traffic is congested, or you have a gas leak in downtown Austin and some roads have to close, like what happened today in our city. So it's interesting that all of these invisible things can now become visible and very, very meaningful because they're creating a better experience for citizens and the cities that they deeply care about.
Absolutely. But even in your example, right, you have growth and it happened really fast and everybody wanted the growth because you get economic boom, you get all these great things by having growth, but then people are mad at the growth as well.
Sure.
So that's what I talk about the 360 is that yes, you want growth, but you have to plan for that growth and then you have to suffer the consequence of the growth, but then you work together to solve it, right? Instead of everybody just pointing fingers at each other and then nothing ever gets done.